So for negative externalities, I said, are spillovers which have effect on production and consumption of goods and services. For positive externality, this occurs when the benefit of production and consumption is enjoyed by the third party. That is positive externality. So for fireworks can be positive externality. Why? Because one, I wrote, fireworks may be considered as a positive externality because the display on the sky by those who don't pay for it may be experiencing external benefits. You know, it's a display that you see on the sky.
And they enjoy it.
They enjoy it. So people that do not pay for it might be enjoying it as a result.
Like a free ride.
Yeah, not a free rider. Don't use a free rider there. It's private. Don't use a free rider.
No, I didn't use it. I'm asking you.
No, it's not. No. It's not. Yeah. You've seen, the glimpse and it looks nice in your face, but you're not paying for it. So it's an external benefit for you. So fireworks display may be considered as either positive or negative depending on the situation. So it depends on the situation you are as an individual. Maybe it comes in the time that your mood is, it's nice. So you see it as positive. But it's when, it disturbs or distracts, it can be called negative. However, negative externalities, now my focus is on negative externality anyway, because the case study is talking more of negative here. So, however, negative externalities occur when the cost of production or consumption is paid for by the third party. That is negative externalities. I think that point is clear there. So fireworks may be considered as negative externalities based on the following reason. One, since fireworks are used during festival, maybe private events or public events during the year. So it means within a year, during the year, you'll be witnessing this negative externality. Two, according to the case study, it is noted that former military personnel have complained that the sound brings bad negative memories of the war, which is not good for them. So that's considered as a negative externality. You get the point?
Yes.
Another point about negative externality is that, let me see, it also disturbs animals that are frightened. So the loud noise can also make animals, to be frightened, and they might be extinct.
And military people.
Yeah, the sound, we talked about them. It brings about bad, negative memories of the war.
Experience.
Yeah, so that's why it's considered as negative externality. I think it's clear.
Yeah.
So go to question 4. Veronique owns a shop that makes cakes for special occasion. The cakes sell for an average price of 40 euros each. Calculate the quantity of cakes sold by Veronique's shop when total revenue is 3,600. You are advised to show your working. So for total revenue, it is price multiplied by quantity sold. Price multiplied by quantity sold. Here we have our total revenue, which is 3,600. Our price is at 40, and quantity represents Q. So 40 multiplied by Q is 40Q, equals to 3,600. Then you need to find Q. So 40Q divided by 40 will give you Q, and 3,600 divided by 40 will give you the value. So Q is 90 units. Do you get that?
Yes.
So we'll move on. We have a case study also. They said, with reference to the data above and your knowledge of economics, analyze why government may want to control takeovers. When we talk about takeovers, we're talking about an integration which occurs when a firm buys over another firm. That is what takeover is, like Vodafone buying over Liberty Global. That's external growth and integration. Okay, so here I wrote, takeover occurs when the firm buys over another firm. Government may want to take over, may want to control takeovers based on the following reasons. One, it reduces competition, as Vodafone buying over Liberty Global takes it away from the market, which limits the choice of consumers. So if Vodafone buys Liberty Global, it means Liberty Global is off the market. There's no services of Liberty Global anymore. That reduces the choices of consumers. That was the first point. Clear? Yeah. So if Vodafone takes over Liberty Global, it may become too powerful that it might be able to restrict new firms coming in. As a result, might have to charge higher prices. it might become monopoly anyway. That's number two. The third one, it will delay the work on building nationwide. They said it here that the arguments against the takeover include that it will delay the work of building the nationwide fiber optic network and damage competition in the cable TV market. So we talked about competition anyway. So the third point I made about government taking control of or checking and balancing takeovers is as a result of the delay the work on building nationwide fiber might cause if Vodafone takes over. So they said, I wrote, it will delay the work on building nationwide fiber optic network, which means it delays the improvement of services that should be offered. Clear?
Yeah.
So go to question C, right? Value-added tax is an indirect tax that must be, it's a story, I'm not reading that anyway. They said, with the reference to the data above and your knowledge of economics, evaluate the usefulness of price elasticity of demand in helping the South African government to decide whether to increase the rate of VAT. Here, we're talking about the importance of price elasticity of demand. You also talk about the importance of price elasticity of demand related to the case study and the setbacks using price elasticity of demand. So, first, you have to define price elasticity of demand, which is the degree of responsiveness between the quantity demanded of a product as a result of a change in price. That is price elasticity of demand. So PED can be used by the government of South Africa to decide whether to increase the rate of VAT or not based on the following reason. One, according to the case study, after VAT was added, based on the case study, after VAT was added for like 1%, 14 to 15%, 1%, the price of goods increases, which reduce consumer spending, and this is an indication that the demand for goods with elastic demand would have fallen. I'm going to repeat what I said here. An increase in VAT here for 1% means that, based on the case, they said consumer spending and business confidence fell following that. It would have meant that the prices of goods and services are rising, meaning that consumption reduces. So price elasticity of demand would let us to know if it's for price elasticity of demand. When you use it, you get either elastic or inelastic, yes or no. So it means that for PED used here by the South African government, for elastic, if the PED is elastic, it would have meant that goods that are elastic would have the demand for goods that are elastic in demand, are price elastic, would have fallen in terms of revenue. So the revenue fell. If the revenue fell, because definitely the revenue would have fallen for goods that are price elastic, their revenue would have fallen. So government would have known that, oh, these goods are price elastic. Do you get the point or not? So PED will allow government of South Africa to understand goods and services that are price elastic and inelastic, which it can now base decision on if to increase the VAT or not. So PED can be used by the government of South Africa if it understands if it is elastic or inelastic to take decision about increasing VAT, because there's a case to whether increase the VAT or not. So for the government to increase the VAT or not, it would have used the result of PED, which is either elastic or inelastic, to determine or to decide it. Is it clear? The third point. Based on the case study, they said consumer levels of spending drops and confidence, which means that government revenue would have dropped on VAT too. You know, government VAT is a tax on consumption. So if consumer confidence has dropped and spending has dropped, consumption would have dropped, meaning tax revenue for government would have also fallen. So government would understand that, oh, increasing taxes on certain goods or consumption or certain products would bring about a fall in our revenue because the PED would give them the value. Is it clear? However, PED needs to be used to calculate different goods and services to be able to understand the effect on revenue. It will be a long process. So because there are different goods here, there are different foods here, there are different goods and services. So before government will be able to know if it is elastic or inelastic, it means government has to calculate PED on each goods, and that's going to be a long process. Clear?
Yeah.
Two, PED is just an estimate, which means the actual demand will not reflect on the figures. It's an estimate. Price elasticity of demand is an estimate. So it might not reflect, it might not be the real life event.
Not accurate.
It's not accurate because it's an estimate. And lastly, PED may be used by the South African government might use PED, but using PED, it should also try to use other analysis so that it can, when you use other analysis, it will give you, and the results are the same. We call it triangulation in sociology. We call it triangulation. Triangulation. It means you are using different methods for the same problem. Do you understand? So if you have the same result, then you can consider the PED as accurate. Do you understand? So government should also try to use other methods with this PED to analyze and to be able to take accurate decision. Is it clear now? So that's how you answer the question. And that ends January 2020 past paper. Question 4.